Lockyer, and I've got a treat from you guys from the other side of the pond. Of course, this is Building the Lifestyle Business. This is presented by SoftWash Systems, and we're going over to the UK, a little further north in the UK to Scotland. I'm actually going to be live and in person with this guy 1 week from today. I'll be in your shop. And so this is Graeme Palmer with Palmer Trade Supplies, and also Palmer Cleaning. What's the actual name of your cleaning company?
Palmer and Co. Scotland's Limited.
Palmer and Co. Scotland's Limited. Yeah. And so, yeah. And so you guys have been in the cleaning business a long time. We're really going to get into that. But real quick here, go ahead and introduce yourself, name your company, where you're at, and give us some biographical information on you that's not about cleaning. What you like to do. You're in your business with your family. Give me the bio stuff.
I'm Graeme Palmer and I'm part of the Palmer Trade Supplies, who have just become the UK distributor for SoftWash Systems. So we're super excited to be part of this journey with yourself.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's kind of the new thing right now is, excuse me, is you do also have another company, Palmer Trade Supplies, but you're in the cleaning business, and we are doing business together on the SoftWash Systems side and the disruptor manufacturing side, which is really really cool. And so that's a new development. That's why I'm going to be there next week. Actually, no, I'm sorry, about in a few weeks. Actually, I'll be over in the UK next week, but yeah, I'll be seeing you in a few weeks. But that's really cool. But tell me about the family, and I know you're in this with your brother and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, so we're Glasgow based. It was my grandfather who set this company up in 1932. So
Wow.
Palmer. So we're over 90 years in business and we operate throughout Scotland and the northeast of England. And we're originally set up as a window cleaning
Mhm.
and decorating company. My father then got on board and he took it further and he stopped the decorating side of it and focused on the window cleaning side. So we employ around 40 people in that side of the business, and we have ground team, a rope access team, and we've also got a plant access company as well. So we have cherry pickers or access platforms that are working up to 70 meters in the air. So
Mm.
we have three businesses, and the third one, which relates to the SoftWash system, was set up in 2018 by my brother, Nicholas, who is a bit of a pioneer into new techniques and came across soft washing, so started using that system as well. So yeah, we're third generation business, and yeah, we're operating through various techniques, which soft washing is one that we've kind of come across for the past 5, 6 years now. So yeah, we're based in Glasgow in Scotland, and that we've grown up in the cleaning industry. It's kind of ingrained in our blood and the name of the company as well. So yeah, it was 1932, and
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah,
yeah,
when you think about 1932, I mean, I'm a third generation service business entrepreneur. My grandfather was in business, back in the 30s, like your grandfather was. Actually, back even earlier before then. But he did, literally did appliances and like toasters and blenders and small appliances, and had a small appliance company. Cleaning came, just my generation, first generation cleaner. But you guys are actually three generation cleaners, and you started out. I thought it was really interesting, window cleaning and decorating. Um, Window cleaning is a real popular thing, but I didn't realize about the decorating. Tell me a little bit more about that. That's interesting.
yeah. So it's like painting and
Mhm.
commercially focused is the core. We all have always really maintained a commercial side to the business. We don't really do domestic as such. But yeah, anything really just to earn a living. So yeah, I'm really proud of my roots. My dad, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago now,
Mm.
he created a good name for himself across our city, and as doing things right, and having a good end product there of working hard and delivering for his clients, which Nick has been in the business around 20 years now, and he's actually taken it forward through technology with the rope access, the trucks, and even to the soft washing. So he's really quite engaged in doing new techniques and ultimately working safely as well. That's the forefront of what we do. He's also got a great name across the industry in the UK for being, working safely at height. So yeah, we got a good core company there, and yeah, we're continuously trying to improve, which is why we've come across your product as well. So um, for example, we used a Bowser when we found out about soft washing, or the whole last idea of it came around. We were one of those people that we were creating small batches of using chemicals and doing it all the wrong way, really. And 2 years ago, we bought our first skids from Purple Rhino, and we love it, and we're hopefully going to get another actually next year potentially. So yeah,
What's
that's where we are.
interesting is, the UK is very, very, very different from the US. And so all of our US listeners that are listening to the podcast right now are seeing us on YouTube. Uh, it's really different in the UK. Here in the United States, if we can get people to clean their windows once a year, we're doing good. Quarterly window cleanings are rare. The route work on doing windows on a weekly basis or even monthly basis, you might get like storefronts on a shopping center that might do that. But man, you guys over there in the UK are really into window cleaning. I mean, the whole rest of the building can be trashed and they'll want your windows clean. What is up with that?
Yeah, I think as you're aware, we met, was that 3 weeks ago? I came to see your
Yes.
business you're in.
Yeah, you were
I've
actually just here in the Orlando, Florida area on a nice, we call them vacations, you guys call them holidays. A nice holiday over here in the States, and you got to come by and visit our offices. And yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, so like that's one thing I noticed was like the windows across every kind of building, they're just like the windows are like really badly stained, a lot of
Right.
like, thick water deposits on them, and yeah, nobody really cares about that. But within these complexes that you all live in, all your external maintenance has to be pristine, or I think you
Mhm.
have issues with, authorities of, so like people are repairing roofs. Like I watched a company, they were like, uh, they changed this whole roof in one day. And I think if that was in the UK, it would probably take like 3 to 4 weeks of, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, we're really big on cleaning windows, if daily or even weekly, some people, but then nobody will clean the roof for like 10 to 15, 20 years, or they'll even just replace it rather than actually clean it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, some of the roofs we've cleaned there in the UK have been decades old, if not literally. We've cleaned some buildings that hadn't been cleaned in the last 100 years. It's been crazy.
Yeah, I think what was one of your previous podcasts was like, is there green on your, do you have green in your area? It's like we have a lot of green. We have a lot of organic growth around, especially where I live in like the west of Scotland. It's just rain and, constant build up.
Right.
Um,
The moss is unbelievable.
yeah, really bad. Because it's not too bad in well, particularly Florida, right? So that's where, the difference is there is like cleaning your external property is just so key to like keeping your value of your property up. And I don't think people quite realize that till it's too late and they have to replace their roof.
Yeah, I remember one time we were at Dover Castle and we had brought a couple of our guys from the US over to do some training over there in the southeast of England, there in Kent. And so we were having a training type of camp there for soft walkers to come to and all. And so we took them to Dover Castle to do some tourism kind of stuff. Took them to the cliffs of Dover, and while we were in Dover Castle, they were shooting a video of me, and of course the walls are just mossy. And so I went into my best Sean Connery Scottish accent, and I'm talking about the moss load on top of the sides of the walls of the castle, and we coined the phrase the moss load. And it was hilarious. So the whole time we're going across, England and, up into the Midlands. And then, we did do some traveling up into Scotland. Every time we see a building, we'd be like, rating the moss load on the building. Oh, that's a number 5. That's a number 8, because how much growth is on the buildings there is really crazy. And there'll be moss all the way around the windows, but the windows will be gleaming and shiny, and you can see out of them. And it's just crazy. And so 3 generations of window cleaning went from your grandfather to your father, and then your father to Nick and yourself. And now your 2 families are living off of this business. Tell me about your families. So obviously, I didn't get the chance to meet your wife, your kids while they were down. You just came to the office, but you've got a wife and some kids. Tell me about your wife and kids.
Yeah, so I'm married for 5 years now. I'm 37 years old, and I've got 2 young kids. One's 3 and one's 1 year old. And I've
And
also actually got a third on the way. So 2025 is going to be a busier year for me.
then be busier. What's your wife's name?
My wife's name's called Fiona. She
Fiona.
works
Oh,
for Diageo, the whiskey, as well. Probably they do a lot of brands, but one of the most famous is Johnny Walker whiskey. She works
mhm.
with a company. So she's been working with them for around 8 years, and she really likes that. So
Oh, what a great job.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, she likes whiskey, but she's got good work ethic as well. So she's not involved in our business. And I came in here about 8 years ago, 2017. My previous background, I worked for Barclays Bank. So I started in Glasgow, and then I ended up moving to London for around 5 to 7 years, and latterly ended up in New York, the main streets of Manhattan. And I worked there for just over a year doing leverage finance. And unfortunately, due to my father's ill health, I decided to quit my job
Mhm.
there to get back to the family business to help alleviate my mum from that role as
Right.
well. She worked within the business. So yeah, I came back in. So it was a big culture change for me, and very different to what I'd been doing for the previous 8 to 10 years. I had not a lot of cleaning actually experience, but then obviously having that business focused as well, like that helped me kind of come into the business. So I've learned quite a lot as well. Every day is a learning curve, and some days are great, some days are really challenging. But this is part of life now. So yeah.
It is part of life. And so, from the conversations I've had with you, and even just here, Nick is really kind of the technical guy, and you're kind of more the business and finance guy as far as in the operation. Is that accurate?
Yeah, definitely Nick's the guy that can take the machines apart and put them all back together, whereas I'm more on the other side looking at finance and costs, etc. So yeah, it works quite well. We have a good business relationship. We get on in terms of business really
Hmm.
good, and we work well together in terms of that gelling. Like he's different to me, and I bring different ideas to the table. And yeah, we've continued to grow for the past 7 years. We've continued to invest in various things, where it be the SoftWash skid
Hmm.
or different access platforms. So yeah, and in terms of Palmer Trade Supplies, that's really come on the past 3 or 4 years. We started really online, and then now we've got a trade counter, we've got warehouse space, and we're even now like we probably need more space. So yeah, it's continuing to grow as well. So that's quite exciting. And I've just started putting our products on Amazon as well. So things are
Oh,
getting busier on that side as well.
we just recently made that leap ourselves. Yes. Yeah.
It's really been quite challenging because you don't. you can't always think of everything, get everything right, and even down to the posting and the packaging, getting it in the right sizes so you're not paying, your margins don't decrease. That's been quite, I've learned a lot from that as well. Because I never had e-commerce experience as well. So like put all our website products on that and like day by day just learning, just doing it. Um, it's the only way to do it is just getting involved and just, you know, learning day by day of all the challenges.
So I'm going to go back a little bit to Fiona here. Okay, so she works for the company that owns Johnny Walker, which is an American whiskey, but yes, she lives in Scotland. So because she's in the business, she probably knows a little bit about Scotch.
Yeah, she knows a lot more than me. Um, I'm not particularly um acquainted to whiskey, and alcohol doesn't really do me any favors, so I'll leave that one to her. But yeah, she does do a lot of like different campaigns, like the Game of Thrones and things she was involved in. They did like a
uh,
special edition, so yeah.
because
um
although I'm diabetic and I'm not supposed to have any kind of liquor. I even before I was diabetic, I didn't drink a lot, but I really love whiskeys, and the darker and the richer, the better. And since I know that she's in the biz, I'm looking forward to a good recommendation of a nice single malt Scotch, maybe a bottle or two I can bring home as gifts for some of my team here in the States. So maybe we can go on a Scottish whiskey expedition while I'm there.
yeah, definitely. Well, I'll have a nice dram, as they say here, for you waiting for your arrival. Don't want you to
Good.
get too drunk though and not
Well,
be able
yeah,
to
yeah, and you
return.
don't want to, yeah, because the drug part's not so bad. It's the blood sugar spiking and me going to the hospital would not be a good thing. But a shot won't kill me. So yes,
Yeah, well, we can make that happen.
a pint probably would devastate me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you coming over on the 25th of October. So we'll have that open house day where we've generated quite a lot of interest. So
Yeah,
that'll be interesting for people to meet you, and I think it will really change people's minds, particularly around where I live and what people are doing and how they really should be doing it. It'll be very interesting, I think, as well. So
what's the really interesting part is so there in the UK, what we've really noticed as we've built our business there, we've got I think it's just north of about 20 affiliates there in the UK. You being one of those affiliates, because you guys do have a soft washing division, you do have a SoftWash Systems truck. There's not a lot of people like you guys that are very business minded. We have a few people. We've got uh, Jonathan, I think Owen with Blue Whale. We got Alex Redworth. We've got just a few companies in there. Excel. I can't name all of them, but about maybe 25% of our companies there are 2 to 3 truck type of operations. But there's a lot of owner operators, or what I would even call like a side hustle mentality there in the UK. And one of the things I've really tried to work on there in the UK is getting people to realize that when you get into a business, whether it be soft wash systems, window cleaning by itself, or could be doing gardening, it could be doing interior maid work, or whatever it might be, a lot of people treat it like a side hustle or a job that they own. They don't really own a business, they own a job.
yeah,
And so they're maybe making a little bit more money than they could if they were working for somebody else, but really not much more. And they really haven't improved their life that much. And what we're really trying to do is we're really trying to improve people's lives. So when we're bringing these businesses over to the UK, we're putting people in the business in the UK, we're really trying to focus on improving their lives, helping them build a sustainable business, helping them build an asset, something that they can either keep for a lifetime and get a good income out of it and employ some other people, or build it up over a few years and then possibly sell it and be able to retire well if they're at that stage in their life.
You've heard AC Lockyer talk the talk, but wouldn't you like to see him walk the walk? Now is your chance, and it is absolutely free. Spend the day exploring SoftWash Systems and disruptor manufacturing. You'll see the business and marketing systems developed by AC at work. But no open house is complete without food, so be sure to stick around for lunch. To register for this free event, please call 855-763-8669 to reserve your spot. We look forward to seeing you at our next open house.
And so the aspect of building a business is a little different in the UK because the UK is not as entrepreneurial as the United States. I mean, you've been to both places. You've not only have holidayed over here, but you actually worked in New York for a while. And I'm sure you have noticed the stark difference between like an American mindset and a a UK mindset or even a European, because you guys are right there next to Europe. The Atlantic Ocean not only it separates our land masses, but it almost separates our mindset or our attitudes. Um, Tell me a little bit about the difference in the UK on entrepreneurialism.
Yeah, I think you're right with what you're saying there. I think when I worked in America, nobody went home. Work was their life basically, which I
Mhm.
get you have to have a little bit of a balance because you can't
You do have to find the balance.
get that. But yeah, there's definitely a higher drive in America than there is in the UK to, you know, you don't just get up and do your 8 hours and go home. Like you
Mhm.
do that bit extra, and by doing that bit extra, you then can have that little extra lifestyle that you want. Is the way I also like. I've been brought up. You don't do 8 till 4 or 9 till 5. Like you do till
Right.
you can't do anymore. Really, is
So
that's
you're
my
done.
mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my mindset. And when I'm at home as well, like I obviously have a young family, but work doesn't stop. We have to keep thinking, keep moving, and keep investing. And by investing, you can then grow as well. So yeah, definitely would say that the work mentality of America is just really that much higher than the UK. I don't understand why, personally. And I am from that background where like you have to work to, survive. Really,
Right.
I question as well, what do people do these days? Where do they get the money from to live? The cost of everything's just going up every day. Like you see yourself, like the packaging from Amazon or like the shipping cost to get things. Everything is rising. So as much as everyone wants to earn more money, you've got to work that a lot harder to get that, in my opinion. So yeah, I definitely was taken aback by the work mentality when I lived in New York as well, which I think is probably higher than maybe being in Florida, for example. But you probably could tell me more about that.
Well, certainly, especially when you're on the island, when you're in Long Island and you're in the inner city area of New York, uh, especially when you're working down on Wall Street and you're in either Midtown or down in the financial district, you've got a lot of people there with hustle and their lives revolve around their job. When you come down here to Florida, a lot of people are moving down here, especially a lot of people move down from the Northeast down here to Florida. We call Interstate 95, or what our M is, our M95. We call that the Yankee Turnpike. And so all the Yankees are moving down from up north down here to Florida to supposedly slow down, but we usually have to convince them to slow down. They come down here with dirty mouths and they cuss a lot and they get mad and they get all worked up and everything. We're like, whoa, whoa, slow down. You moved down here to Florida to have a slower pace of life and relax and less traffic and watch the grass grow and put some sugar in your iced tea and drink sweet tea. And they laugh. They go, "Yeah, that's right." And I'm like, "Got to leave the New York in New York, because it is a little different here in Florida." But the work ethic is still here because that American work ethic is still here. So the younger people that haven't retired yet have to hustle to be able to have a good lifestyle and retire. People moving down from New York down here have kind of staked their claim, made their money, and they're coming down to relax a little more down in Florida. So there is a difference in the intensity
Mm.
work, especially on Long Island versus Florida. But even Florida versus the UK, I look at people in the UK and I go, how do they survive? And many people just survive in the UK, and they depend on the government, and they get on the dole, and it's sad to see. But what we want people to do is we want people to build a lifestyle business. We want them to build a business that's going to give them the income to help them achieve their life's goals and dreams and have the things in life that they want to have. Now, for you, you didn't have to start that. You were born into it, so to speak. You didn't you did and we have to make it clear for everybody here, you and Nick did not just inherit a company that made you wealthy. You inherited a company that gave you opportunity. You guys have to work in it every day to make sure it does provide an income for you guys. So it's not like you're, third generation wealthy, just living off the company, the family fortune. You inherited a business, but you still have to get in the boat and paddle every day. And so you didn't have the choice necessarily to become an entrepreneur. It was kind of set up for you. Nonetheless, you're having to work at it. What has that meant for your lifestyle, though? How has being an entrepreneur improved your lifestyle?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think obviously the core was set up there, and within the work hard mentality and the ethics, we've got core values which we try to adhere to every day. Um, yeah, well, we're not nowhere near that level to be able to sit back and relax every day. We've got,
Right.
responsibility to our employees to continue to, um, keep growing the company, increasing their kind of life as well with rising costs, keeping their wages up as well, and keeping our business as well with our core clients. And um, I would say that, you know, we've continued to invest, and one of the things is like the SoftWash Systems product that we've got is we've eliminated the manual handling and labor
Mhm.
intensity. We were pressure washing.
Right, which is very labor intensive, very loud and noisy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were stuck in buildings for 2 or 3 weeks, and now we can take 2 weeks out of the three there by just soft washing. It's incredible. Um, but yeah, my lifestyle, yeah, it's good. But I want more, and by that I have to work harder. And
Mhm.
I'm trying to. Sometimes you do have to stop and relax a little bit, but it is quite hard. It's like a drug. You just want more.
Right.
You want to continue to do more.
When you do get a chance to stop and relax, what are some of the things that you enjoy doing?
So Nick and I were both skiers.
Mm.
My father was quite into skiing, so we both actually represented Great Britain at skiing, and nationally as well for Scotland. So we're alpine skiers. Unfortunately, in Scotland, there was more rain than snow, so
Yeah.
we skied a lot in France, and we traveled quite a lot with the national teams. Nick continued to do it a little longer than me. Um, he kind of went he was kind of professional for a couple of seasons skiing,
Mm.
and I was kind of semi-pro. I was a national champ. We were both national champions as well. So,
Wow,
which was, you know,
that's impressive. I mean, I've won a national championship, but I know what kind of work you have to put into making that happen, and how driven you have to be to make that happen. So that it doesn't surprise me that translates into your business as well.
yeah, I think when I was 13 years old, we were on training camps in France on my own without my
Mhm.
parents. It really did actually help me kind of develop some skills from being there out alone, and having to just manage yourself as well. And so I'm quite into my skiing. I also like golf. I'm quite a big golfer. Any free time on the weekends, if I am allowed, I will be on the golf course playing.
You
So
you are very, very close to some very, very famous golf courses.
Yeah, that's one thing we're very blessed with is some great golfing.
Yes.
And because we're quite a small nation as well, they're all very accessible. You don't need to drive down a turnpike for hours to get there. So,
Right. And
yeah,
the biggie there is St. Andrews, right? Or
yeah. I mean, St Andrews is the home of golf, as they say. So yeah, that's about a 2 hour drive for me. So I actually took a friend from New York there about a month ago, and he had blue sky, and he couldn't quite believe it. But I said that's not normal. So I'm into my golf. I really like that. It's got a bit of competitive to it, and socially as well, and also good for business as well. I've met,
it's good for business. Yes.
yeah, it's quite a good way to kind of
It's a nice way to get somebody you want to do business with,
yeah,
get their undivided attention for about 3 hours.
yeah, it's really good, and it's quite a good I find it quite relaxing as well because
Mhm.
you're too busy focused on how bad your golf is, and it takes your mind off of business. So yeah, I like golf, and I'm also a football fan, which is soccer to you. So
Mhm.
um, I don't play very much anymore. A little overweight from being in the office, but I follow a local team, Partick Thistle here. You wouldn't have heard of them,
Mhm.
but they're my local team, so I've got allegiance to them. So that's my kind of outside work hobbies. Very sporty.
So you mentioned this the skiing. So the about 4 days we're going to get of vacation time this month while we're over. We're going to be going over to Annecy, France, and over to
Okay.
Geneva, Switzerland, and the Mont Blanc area, and so when you talk about, we'll be close to the Alps, not right next to them, but yeah, that's where you probably had to go to do a lot of your skiing.
Yeah, I actually skied in a place called Flaine, which is 1 hour from Annecy, actually. So I know that area quite well. I spent a lot of my childhood there. So it's a great area there, and sure you'll have fun there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
You can
So,
maybe go fishing as well. I know you like
yeah,
cooking.
I never, it's funny, as much as I travel, I never get to go fishing where I travel, because I don't have my stuff with me. I don't have my boat. I'd have to hire like a local guide, and I'm usually going to business appointments and everything. I don't have a lot of time to do it. I would love, like, gosh, up in Scotland, trout fishing, salmon fishing. I guess I can't even. I've seen pictures of the beautiful winding streams with all the grass and fly fishing, and it's just like, yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, I've never really done fishing. I've always kind of wanted to, but unfortunately, as you're aware, time is quite precious with different things with work and life. So
Well, and you got small kids, so you're in that own the business and have the family and small kids, so your time is really booked up.
yeah, I think I've obviously got two young kids quite close. So Nick is also the same actually. So
Mhm.
we've had a lot of pressure outside of work with that as well because you have to help out and bath time, bedtime, you want to be there as well. My father was very good with my brother and I. He was
Mhm.
very, very engaged with us. And I think that's one thing, like having that business as well, like being your own boss. Like he actually managed probably more spare time than we actually do, but he was always there for us, which is one thing that I try or will hopefully in a few years' time be able to do as well. Right now it's
Mhm.
quite tricky because you have to, we're really kind of deep inside the business rather
Right.
than outside looking on it, which is not the right way to be. And we need to get out and
Yeah.
overlooking it.
You to work on your business, not in your business, as the great Michael Gerber says. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one thing. When we met, I was obviously spent the day with you, and I've already said this to you, but I was really taken aback by your whole setup there. I was obviously hadn't met you before until that day and hadn't realized what kind of setup you've got, and it's very impressive. And one of the things took out from that was like you've got such great loyal staff around you that
Mhm.
you said this yourself to me was that you can just leave for 3 weeks and know that things are running okay without you being there, which is like something that we need to aspire to as well. That would be great to have that.
Yeah, it's even you sat in, I don't have an office at any of my businesses, and so you sat in what we call the droplet hospitality suite. I put the air quotes around it because and we ended up with our building is divided into different suites with roll up doors and garages in the back and offices in the front. And so when we were shuffling and moving some of our businesses around and taking over more of the buildings around us, we ended up with this one little single office warehouse combo. So that's become, my wife took it over first because she was the still is the CFO of the company, but we moved the controller into her office. And so Karen, didn't have to give up her office, but she gave up her office because we really didn't want to be at the business a lot. She had gotten more deeply entrenched around COVID and kind of moved back into the business. And we moved into this little suite. We decorated it like a living room and put a nice big 70-inch TV in there and took one of the offices and put some, nice kitchen kind of furniture in there, turn it into a conference room. And so it's a place to come in and crash and have conversations like we had and everything. But I always say, I'm not going to have an office at the business. I'm not going to have an office at the business. Well, over at Disruptor Manufacturing, on my birthday, a bunch of the team members, there's an office there that I kind of land in when I'm working over at Disruptor Manufacturing. And so one of the team members, Renee, is like, "Have you been to your office yet?" I'm like, "Renee, I don't have an office." "Well, the place over at Disruptor where you sit usually." And I'm like, "Yes." She says, "Have you been in there yet?" I'm like, "No, I haven't been in there yet." She's like, "Oh, well, you really need to go in there." I'm like, "Okay." She goes, "It is your birthday." I'm like, "Okay." So I went in there. And so she found me this beautiful live edge wooden organic desk. I mean, it's beautiful. It's incredible. And I turned around and looked at her and I went, "Renee, I'm not supposed to have an office." I said, "What do you want me to do with this?" It's just beautiful. So I'm going to have to decorate that office and all, and then I'm going to hire somebody to replace myself over there, and it'll be their office, and they'll be like, "Look at this beautiful desk I have," you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny because we're trying to, and I deliberately do that because I'm trying to not be at my business every day. It's like today on Thursdays and Fridays, generally, I do all of my meetings and everything from my house. Fridays, I try to take off. And, um, and so you've really got to work on that. And I would encourage you to really work on that, especially with having young children, because I'm just going to tell you right now, I you will blink and they'll be moving out of the house. And you're going to go, "Where did all the years go?" You know? And so you're 37. I got started a lot younger than you. I had my last kid when I was 25. And so my wife and I were empty nesters, and the kids all moved out of the house by the time we were 45.
Yeah, I think I'm probably an older father, but I think with the way my life worked to survive, I couldn't have afforded kids back.
Oh, you can never afford kids. You're going to find that out.
Yeah, I already found that at Disneyland when my little girl was
Yeah.
Cinderella prince at $150. So, um, yeah, no, I think, like say the day at your premises as well, like just it taught me a few new skills as well of like teamwork, just the innovation there. Like at the end when we were looking at the hose reels and things like that, the level of detail that was going into that, just like all of you coming together and just like you're bored and all the ideas and then going out and seeing like the hand press of the reels and things like that was something I think, you'll never appreciate until you actually go there and see what's going on. So yeah, that was a great day as well. I really enjoyed your time and learned quite a lot from that as well.
Well, it's just all in the pursuit of us building a business will create opportunity for other people, but also to create opportunity for us. And so, we're just trying to do things excellent, just like you're trying to do things excellent to build an engine that will propel our ship of opportunity that will support our lifestyle. So you're building the engine to propel your ship of opportunity to support your lifestyle. And that's what building a lifestyle business is all about. You don't want to overpower your ship of opportunity. You want to build the right size lifestyle business to help you achieve your life's goals and dreams. So, what's next for you? What do you see? You know, yeah, yes, you've become a distributor for SoftWash Systems products, disruptor manufacturing products, all that stuff over there. But you're ostensibly in the cleaning business. You've put these businesses together to support your lifestyle. What's next? Where are you going now? What's the goals for the next 5 years?
Well, in 12 years' time, I'll be 50, and I just decided that I want to be retired by the time I'm 50 and enjoy the kind of latter years of my life.
Yeah.
That's my goal, actually. One thing I learned was my father, he passed away in his early 70s, and he didn't really get to enjoy the kind of fruits of his labor and work that he put in. So like I don't want to be like that, and I want to be around my family. I'm a very family oriented person. So I would like to spend time with my family
Mhm.
and like say create that business environment that you can just pop in, you know, every so often, not just be spent there every day at the
Right.
cold face, as they say. And goals would be just to continue to grow. I think when you are able to grow, like you're doing something right, is the way I've kind of been looking at it over the past few years. Like we've continued to invest quite heavily in the business as well to like keep us growing and be able to, do these things that others can. And when you do spend X amount on like a soft wash kit, the opportunity that that creates for you is, you know, it, you know, you can do like two roofs in one day rather than one roof with
Right.
different methods. And my goal really is to get some more soft wash fans out because the opportunity of having that is, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of revenue generating, is a lot more than window cleaning. I think I've watched your podcast as well, and previous people have all said that's quite clearly the case. Sure, you have a lot more figure details than me, but in terms of business, like we'll probably one thing we've grown is like we started in like our parents' house. We then had a smaller premises. We've got
Mhm.
got two premises now, and we're probably looking to get bigger premises as well, which is quite a headache as well. I think you're from speaking to you as well. You've had that sort of issue as well. Like you constantly need more space, don't you?
Constantly, yes. If you're
So
growing, it's agriculture. It's a plant. A plant. A plant will become root bound. Back when I worked in the nursery industry as a teenager, we would take a tray and put seedlings in a tray, and those cups were just little cups, and then you move that up to a 1 gallon plot, pot, and it would get root bound in that. And you'd take it out, and you would put it in a 3 gallon pot, and it would get root bound in that. You take it out, and you put it in a 7 gallon pot. If you never step it up to the next size growing environment, the plant will get root bound in the 1 gallon pot and stay that way forever, stay that size forever. And so, yeah, you've got to get bigger facilities and grow your company and be deliberate about that. Because if you don't continue to grow your company, then your company will stagnate and will go into what's called a death cycle, and it'll start to decline, 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 decline. You got to keep moving. You got to keep growing.
yeah, I think within that as well is you've got to invest to grow. So,
Yep.
take that risk. If you don't take risk, you're not gonna. Well, you can go the other way, but if you don't take the risk, then you're never gonna grow. So yeah, next phases would be to like try and um continue with what we're doing, investing in the business. And I think from like a personal side is to take myself out of here so much because it
Mhm.
is very stressful. The one thing I would say is though having worked within my family business and not having been involved in that corporate culture, I really like that. I find sometimes you go in there and you're like a robot with compliance and various things. You can't actually do any work because you've got so many red tapes
Right.
preventing you kind of things. So that I really like that working in the company. Like you are your own boss and you don't have to report to anyone. That's just like one of the best things ever. And I don't think I'd ever go back to, I'd never work. If I left this business, I would never go and work for somebody else.
Ultimately, as a entrepreneur, as a business owner, and as you're growing your business, when you're working your way out of the day to day of the business, you start to realize that your number one job is to be the visionary, to decide where the business is going to go, and then to create a wonderful environment for your team to work in, to buy them all the best tools and all the best technology to do their jobs and keep them safe. And understand that then those team members is your stewardship. They're the asset that you're supposed to be protecting, because your people are your number one most important asset, and just create great opportunity for them. And so the best thing you can do for your team is just a couple times a week, walk your entire facility and walk by each and every single employee and just spend a couple few minutes with them and pay attention to them. Shake their hand and thank them for what they're doing for you. And just make sure that check cashes every week for them.
Okay.
And that's it. And that's it. Because if you hire the right people, they will run the company and they will take care of you and everything will go smoothly. And then you do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday. Thursday you work from home. Every weekend's a 3-day weekend. You can take off a few weeks here or there, and you can have a wonderful life if you build a great lifestyle business.
Yeah, I think I've probably something I'm going to think about as a 5-year plan. I think right now we're just so in the trenches working with, keeping employees happy,
Mhm.
delivering for clients. I think one of the things, you need you're right, like people around you are so important. We're very lucky. We've had people that are worked for us for like 40 years, 30 years,
Wow.
20 years service.
Yeah. Yeah.
We try to look after our staff. They're the most important thing of the business, and they're vital to day to day. So yeah, you're right. Like keeping them happy and giving them the good equipment. Like that's one thing we do is like we provide them with the best of equipment. Um, you know, that is just vital. Like you don't want to be out there like pressure washing when you can spray a wand, or
Yep.
you don't want to be using like a heavy reaching wash pole when you can use a lighter carbon one. Just those things like we're constantly looking at in the background of what can we provide, and it works to the trading shop as well, where we're supplying customers with like the best of quality equipment. Everything we have in our trade store is the best equipment. We're not supplying cheap stuff that, break, or we want them to have the right thing as well. And that's one thing where you're also like, we're not in here. We're here to help everyone as well. Like that's one of the great things about the trade supplies that we set up is like, we're now day to day interacting with people that would be competitors. Like, and
Hmm.
they come in and they're like, "Oh, I didn't think you'd, serve us, but like we'll serve anyone. We're here to help. We want to
Yep.
be of your
We're all
journey."
in the same army, just fighting on different fronts.
Yeah, 100%. And there's opportunity for everyone. There
Hmm.
is so much opportunity out there to have your own lifestyle as well. You don't
Yep.
need to take from anyone. And that's one thing I've learned about the soft washing thing as well from the small time that we've kind of started doing distribution yet. We've obviously not started yet because we don't have our equipment yet. One thing I've learned is like there is a great community there of within this, and that's probably down to yourself creating
Hmm.
that as well, where people are like wanting this and can do this. And for example, today I've had our own chemicals, which I've like passed on to like another company that requires chemicals. Because we don't have your stuff yet, but we're here, and like that's one of the things we're about is trying to help other
Let's
people.
help each other. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's cool. So, it's you just mentioned down in the trenches. So listen, guys, as we wrap this up and we close out this time here with Graham, some of you guys are down in the trenches trying to run your business, trying to figure it out, trying to get on top of your business and work on your business, not in your business. And you don't know quite how to get there. And sometimes you just need to partner up with a great company like Graham has here with SoftWash Systems. And I realize this isn't supposed to necessarily be a SoftWash Systems infomercial. We're talking about building a lifestyle business, but sometimes you don't want to start from scratch. You just want to bolt on something great that already exists. And that can be soft wash systems like Graham has here. we're helping him grow his lifestyle business. So Graeme, thank you so much for spending this time with us and being on the podcast.
Thank you, AC. See you soon.
All right.
Your whiskey ready for you.
Yeah, next week. All right, guys. So thank you so much for being with us this week. And as always, it's AC Lockyer. This is Building a Lifestyle Business. If you like this, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and hit share. Go ahead and subscribe so that you can get future podcasts and alerts on those. And we will see you at the next podcast.